Good afternoon, Facebook friends, family. We are so blessed and excited about our interview today. Just wanted to say hello to everyone. I know yesterday we had some technical difficulties, but we are back and better than ever today. So welcome to Sharp Talk, Dad. I know you are personally overzealous about our interview today. So tell us what's on your heart. What you're looking forward to.
I am so excited. We're interviewing an iconic figure. A guy that was a hero of mine as a young pup in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer, and I'm so excited. This is going to be a true joy for me to just pick his brain and get some of his insights that hopefully all of us that are listening and viewing can glean from and possibly implement in our lives as we strive to become better people, better employees, better husbands and mothers, or whatever it is that we want to be better. Go ahead, Rebekah.
All righty. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and bring on Mr. Dwight Stephenson.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Louis and Rebekah. Good to see you guys, and I appreciate you guys inviting me on today. Thank you.
What a joy. What a joy. One of the most iconic figures, known Hall of Famer, Dwight Stephenson. And I was telling our viewing audiences how excited I was. How much joy I have in my heart to have you on Sharp Talk with my daughter, Rebekah, and I. You and I were talking before the show, and I was telling you that when I was drafted as a first-round draft pick out of UCLA in 1982 by the then St. Louis Cardinals, we used to watch Miami Dolphin end-zone tapes of your offensive line. And as an offensive tackle, we're supposed to watch our position, the offensive tackle position. But we would find the entire offensive line group, the guards, the centers, the tackles, and we would look at number 57, Stephenson. Look at this cat. This guy was explosive. He was athletic. He was tenacious. Thank you again for being with us.
Let me tell you, Louis, I appreciate what you're saying there. And, and I tell you what, I played the game is hard, and I hope when I left the game, I didn't want to say, hey, I wish I had did it this way, I did it that way and stuff. But I had a great time, and I played with some great guys. And I appreciate you also saying some of the things like, you being a young guy coming up, you watched me, and hopefully gave you some good, showed you some things that helped you in your career and stuff. It meant a lot to be, where people say, when players say something like that to me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you saying it too. And Louis, I watched you. I remember when you came out and stuff, and I watched your career, and you were out there at the Cardinals and stuff. You did a great job, and again, I'm happy to be here, man.
Thank you. What a joy. And I gotta ask you this question, because we were talking earlier, and I never saw you lose a block. You were dominant. What was it that made you such a domineering? I think you and Anthony Munoz in our era were the two most dominant offensive linemen that played. What made you that dominant at the center position?
I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be, and I'm not saying I ever was, but I tried to work at being the best center or best player that I could possibly be, and hopefully the people felt I was the best player. But I didn't like to lose. Every play I went out there, I really tried to win, and I didn't have any throwaway plays or anything. All those plays, when I went out there, every play I really tried to win at, and I didn't win it every time, but I really tried to win every time and do the best I can to help the team. I was, in my play, I didn't necessarily have to be where my block turned out to be a great block and the play didn't work out. I wanted to do what worked for the play, and so my teammates benefited, and the whole team. So, that's kind of that's where I guess sum up how my career then, how I played the game.
You did a phenomenal job, and I'm sure you influenced myself and Tootie Robbins. We were young rookies, and we were just amazed at your skill level and how well you perform your craft. And I'm sure you influence players throughout the league. Rebekah.
Yeah, so I love the rhetoric and the discourse that's happening between the two of you, but I'd like to take it back just a little bit. We heard more about your exceptionally explosive career, but if you wouldn't mind sharing with our viewers where you grew up, where you're from, what really shaped you and your love for football in your formative years.
I grew up in Hampton, Virginia. I born in North Carolina, a little small town, Murfreesboro, North Carolina. And my father moved the family when I was about 5 years old, moved us to Hampton, Virginia. And he went to work in the shipyard there, but I had great role models all my life. I mean, my mother and my father, I was blessed with two great parents, and they were the right parents for us and stuff. My father worked. I would see him Saturday evening when he got off overtime working at the shipyard. There was a huge shipyard in Newport News, Virginia, which is right beside Hampton. And that's where he worked for like 35 years. My daddy would get up in the morning at 7, be to work at 7, get off at 4, be to his second job at 5, get off at 12
Wow.
at night. And he didn't do that for 3 or 4 years. He did it for 35, 40 years, and just amazing. Wow. And my mother, she worked in the school cafeteria, got seven kids, and she got 7 kids ready, or oversaw it, and the older ones kind of helped the younger ones and all that. But I was blessed with great parents and stuff, and so that was a real important part, I think, of my career there and stuff.
And probably where you got your work ethic and your resilience from, right?
Right, you got it and stuff. So then when I left Hampton, I mean, again, I played in a pretty good football program there and stuff. Man, we were state champions and all that and stuff, and we had some good players. I played with some really good guys there too, and we had a lot of guys to go off to college and stuff. And when I went off to Alabama, everybody's saying that.
Alabama.
How did I go to Alabama? I'm gonna tell you, they came there to recruit 2 other guys. They wanted 2 guys by the name of one was Woodrow Wilson, and the other guy was Simon Gupton. And those are the 2 guys they really wanted. And my coach said, you ought to, high school coach said, you ought to take a look at Dwight Stephenson. He's not gotten a whole lot of credit. And I didn't start playing until I was in 11th grade. So I didn't. Not a lot of people didn't know about me, so forth and so on. So anyway, they looked at me and they said, okay, they said they'll take all 3 of us. And anyway, I was the only one that went down to Alabama. And I didn't know if I made a mistake or not. I didn't know if I was good enough or whatever and stuff. But my dad always say, he was the kind, he was pretty aggressive. He would go for things and stuff. So he supported me there and my family and went down there. And, the work ethics that I learned from my mother and father, you needed that at the University of Alabama playing for Coach Paul Bear Bryant. You got to be willing to work and make the sacrifice and so forth, and realize that you're there and don't embarrass your family and don't embarrass the school and so forth and so on. So I played there at the University of Alabama and had a great time, and and then there, like I said, went down to the Dolphins again. Similar things, Coach playing for Coach Bryant, then go to play for Coach Schuler. It was like, I don't know how that happened to me, but that was just like, it was a blessing, and 2 great coaches and stuff, and had some great teammates, and so I've been really blessed.
Well, and you just kind of skirted over your time at Alabama because you were part of back-to-back championship teams and you're in their Hall of Fame as well. So we have to make sure we stop and celebrate all of the incredible accolades that you were able to garner even in college. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. University of Alabama, I came there again. I was 216 pounds and they wanted me to play linebacker. And I thought I could play linebacker too, but they had and I played center too as well and stuff. On the JV team. Back then we had the JV team, so they really wanted me to play linebacker, and then they had another guy that was All-American, second team All-American. That was Terry Jones. You might remember him, Lewis Sharp. He played with the Green Bay Packers. He's a little bit older than you, but so he was a starting center. And then this is how bold it was. What happened? Well, I was at the University of Alabama. Here it is, Big T, Terry Jones, All-American, or fixing to be All-American. And Coach Bryant makes the decision. He's all right, Dwight's going to start, okay? And they moved him to nose tackle, but because he played nose tackle. Then he wanted one of us to play defense. And Terry Jones played defense a lot better than I played defense. And so they moved him over there, and the rest is history. Big T did a great job, and, an unselfish move. He could have went over there and not did well, and Coach Bryant then would have had no choice, kind of like but to bring him back or whatever and stuff. But he went over there and did a great job unselfishly, and then I played center position and was able to flourish there. And but Alabama was a great experience for me. I enjoyed playing for Coach Paul Bear Bryant. He's you're one of those guys that, you're glad you played for him, and when you're going through it, it's pretty tough. But once you go through it under everything, you're glad you went through it. You really are and stuff.
So that's amazing. You mean they took the starting center, who was an All-American, and moved him to the nose tackle on defense so that you can become the starting center?
Right. They did that, and they didn't do it because I was that much better than I was better than T. They did it because he wanted one of us to play defense, and they tried me at defense over there. And you got to understand. I mean, could I play inside linebacker? Probably outside linebacker. You got to be almost like a running back. I mean, like a defensive back almost. You got to be real swift and nifty out there.
Right.
I wasn't that swift and nifty out there, but I had a Big T played the defense a lot better than I played defense, and we went on that year. I think we did the year that they did that. We lost one game. We lost to Nebraska, the opening game. Then we went undefeated and finished number 2 in the country and stuff. So, but Alabama was. Boy,
that's tremendous. What a story that is. I had no idea that happened, and that unselfishness and putting the team first mentality, I'm sure played a big part in the reason why you guys were national champions.
Yeah, and that. You can see that a lot throughout Alabama football and stuff, where guys unselfishly do things and stuff, and the sacrifice. And if we really go out there and we work hard, we become almost like a family, because we do depend on one another to make it. Because we'd be out there working, and it would be like, you don't know if you can make it, and somebody, come on, man, we can do it, and kind of help you along and so forth and so on. And and Coach Brian, he wanted to put you to the test to see if you're going to quit. And he always said, if you're going to quit, he wants you to quit in practice, not in a game or whatever and stuff. So we worked, and but it was a good experience. Again, like I said, once I went through it, I was glad I did it. I really helped mold me as a person.
Yeah, unbelievable. And speaking of molding, I know that looking back, I remember you and Dan Marino. Dan Marino, of course, is a Hall of Famer, same as you. And I believe, arguably, you and he are the greatest center quarterback combination in the history of the NFL. Your thoughts about that?
I think that Coach Shula always explained it, having a straight line down the middle, having a solid middle linebacker, solid safety back there, calling plays in the center on the offensive line, and then the quarterback, having down the middle being strong. And I think that Coach, because before me, he had Jim Lange. Jim Lange, again, he was a Hall of Famer, and then Bob Greasy. But I think he liked that combination where, he had two pretty good players right there and stuff. And it was a real joy playing with Dan. He was a guy that was confident, and he still is and stuff. But he was one of those guys that worked hard, and he would push people. And I like that part about him too and stuff. And but he's a great guy and stuff. And like I said, you said when he was just an example of him being unselfish. He was a union rep like you were, right? That's what yeah. He didn't have to do that. I mean, Dan Marino, he was a marquee player. He could demand kind of take care of Dan, and he was fine and stuff. But he didn't. He put his career and everything on the line too. When you go in there and you're arguing with owners and so forth and so on and stuff. And but he unselfishly did that. But he's one of the most unselfish and one of the hardest working guys that you'll find out here in life too. Good guy.
Absolutely, and he was very opinionated and always had the player's side. And like you said, he was a marquee player, the face of the NFL at the time. He didn't have to be representing the membership with the Players Association. So I always looked up to him in that regard. And interesting, you say Shula was concerned about the middle. And from an offensive standpoint, you got to protect. You got to be solid in the middle, both run and pass. Right. That's where it all starts. So that makes a lot of sense.
I agree with you there and stuff. And because in the middle, you can go left or right or whatever and stuff. You can get if you don't stop the play, you can get involved in it and stuff. So you need to be able to control that middle there and stuff. And we tried to do the best we could.
Speaking of middle, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'll digress to my daughter. I talked to Michael Carter from the San Francisco 49er recently. We're hoping to have his daughter, Michelle Carter, who's an Olympic gold medal winning shot putist, But I told Michael that I was shocked that he was not in the Hall of Fame. 3 players from our era that I feel should be in the Hall would be he, Michael Carter, the defensive end, Dexter Manley, and Chris Hinton. And you played against Michael Carter. Share with us your thoughts on he as a player.
Right, I did. I played against Michael Carter, played against him in the Super Bowl there and stuff. He was what we call a load. he was very strong. He was agile, quick, and he was a player that you don't go in there. When you play games, you don't necessarily relax at all, but you got to be sure of what you really want to do in that game and stuff. I don't want any question as what like third down situation, what we're going to call. I kind of want some ideal and stuff, but I just want to be very, very sure of myself and stuff. And he's that kind of player that sometimes I got to pay a lot of attention to him physically because he can do some things that if I make a mistake, he can really take advantage of me and stuff. But a really good guy and stuff. And yes, I agree with you. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and stuff. And hopefully he gets in there and stuff. And then guys like Dexter Manley. I mean, just Dexter was unbelievable. Just a great guy and stuff. And the talent that he brought to the field was awesome.
Chris Hinton about
Chris again. He's like yourself. I'm telling you now that tackle position. He was a load out there and stuff. He was the guy that, and I saw him a lot because we played against him twice a year and stuff. And him and Ray Donaldson. I want to talk about Ray Donaldson in a minute too. But him and Ray Donaldson was very, very powerful. Two of the most powerful blockers I feel in the AFC East at the time. So, I mean, just 2 great players and stuff. And Chris, hopefully he gets in the Hall of Fame, and yourself too. I'm telling you, sometimes. You don't want to necessarily. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with promoting yourself, but some kind of way somebody needs to be speaking up and saying something and stuff. Well,
I appreciate those sentiments. But I can tell you, bro, I'm in the Hall of Fame in heaven that will never pass away, and I'd much rather be in that hall, and hear those words, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," at the end of my journey. But I appreciate those very kind sentiments. Larry Lee says Dwight Stephenson is the man.
Larry Lee, I'm telling you, we played together, and he's a UCLA Bruin. He played with you there, and a really good guy, and quite a musician too now. And he's a good guy and stuff. I ran into him last Super Bowl. I think we were in Atlanta, but not the last one. It wasn't before that. We were in Atlanta together and stuff, and really good guy. And if I can just take a moment, I mean, the guy named Ray Donaldson, a lot of people don't know about him and stuff, but he played with the Baltimore Colts, Indianapolis Colts, and he was a 2nd-round draft choice. And he's the offensive lineman, one of the best to ever play the game and stuff. And he, should be in Pro Football Hall of Fame too as well and stuff. He's actually he was drafted in the 2nd round from the University of Georgia, and then I came shortly after that. I was drafted in the 2nd round from Alabama, and he was actually probably the first full-time black center to play in the National Football League. And I started like maybe 4 or 5 games later and stuff after he started and stuff. But he's quite a guy.
Ray Donald, great player. I remember watching him. Great player. He and Chris Hinton, they had a line with the Colts. I forget who was the quarterback. Was it Peyton, the quarterback? I think that was
somebody with a P maybe in Pago or something.
Mike Pago from Arizona State.
Yeah.
Mike Pago.
Then they also had that running back, was it McMillan? But they had a nice running back too. They had for a while. Remember Dickerson played with the Colts? That's right. Eric was there too. Yep, you're right.
He was one of our guests on the show recently.
Yeah. Had a really powerful testimony to share. And, we've been talking a lot about the Hall of Fame and the Pro Bowl honors and the AFC O-Lineman of the Year, which I know you have a very long list of accolades and achievements. But one that really touched me that I wanted you to speak about was in the 90s, you were actually voted the NFL Man of the Year for your community service efforts and your excellence in playing. Can you talk to us about that specific distinction and some of the community service endeavors that you are involved in today?
Yes, I'm very proud of all the awards and stuff, and this one right here is probably the one that closest to my heart and stuff. It's one that, yes, you have to be a good player, a good football player and stuff, a good athlete and doing the right things and all that. But also you have to be giving back to the community. And when people recognize that, I mean, that was, I'm glad they saw that. And but it's something that's always been important to me, my mother and my father. You know, it's kind of like we, you know, in the community, they've always done things and you know, been active, and I tried to do the same thing too. So when I came down here, it was kind of like how do I give back? And I also saw some of the older guys, Larry Little, you know, he had football camps, and Nat Moore was doing things too as well. So I kind of patterned some of the things I did after what those guys were doing. And but it's something that's very is that award is probably the one that I'm the most proud of, and I, like I said, giving back to the community is something that's very, very important. Showing people that you care. I mean, the community that I came from was not a very well-to-do community, but we cared about one another, and so giving back, you know, that I wanted to do something like that. So and I'm glad people recognize it, and I appreciate that. I really do.
It is very evident to see that whatever you put your mind to, you do it in an exceedingly and abundantly exceptional way. So thank you for all of the memories on the field, of course, but truly for your endeavors off the field, because I know you've been able to transform many lives as a result of your commitment.
Well, the only thing I do is, like, when I go after something, I go after with everything I got, and I just don't quit. I mean, somebody might cut me or fire me, but I don't quit and stuff. So,
amen. That's a powerful lesson, and your life is truly evidence of that.
Yeah, but thank you.
Quitting is simply not an option. It's not.
Yeah.
And you know what, thinking back on the 13 years that I played, you know, in my mind, I would always see myself before every game. First of all, I studied every tape that we had. I knew everything about my opponent. I knew what their kids' names were, where they were born, how many years they've been, what their side. I tried to know as much as I could. I'd watch their techniques, you know, and I pick up little bits and pieces that would help me in the game. And I would see myself successful. I would run the offensive plays in my mind, and I would see myself successful. So when I wasn't successful, I was like, what happened? That wasn't supposed to happen. How important is having that mindset before you enter the athletic arena, seeing yourself successful?
Right. And I do agree with that. I mean, always, like Coach Shooter used to give us like the first 4 plays or whatever and stuff. No matter what, these are the 4 plays we're going to run. So I kind of knew what I wanted to get done there, and then and just, you know, and was able to plan that out and know exactly what I wanted to do, provided what the defense was going to give us. But yeah, you're right, and you got to be able to imagine in the field. I mean, that I could see things. I could see what I wanted to get done on that football field out there and stuff, and then I worked to try to make it happen and stuff. But I could visualize that. I literally could see it happening on the football field and try to make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, and one of the things I learned from you as a young lineman was the importance of quickness and leverage. Getting on that point of attack, that aiming point as quickly as you can with good leverage. And that gives you a distinct advantage over that defensive lineman. I learned that from you, watching you play.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I did. I tried. You know, I never was the biggest guy. I played like 255 or something, 255 pounds. So my whole thing was, I'm going to get there, I'm going to deliver the blow, and I'm going to get my feet moving, and I'm going to get leverage. And like I say, you know, and I didn't ever want them to hit me first. I mean, I wanted to deliver the lick, and then I go to work from there and stuff. And but I felt I had a huge advantage. I knew the snap count. Everybody on the offensive lineman, we know the snap count, and that's a huge advantage. And you got to use it to your advantage and stuff. And that's what I did. I tried to and try to have tenacity and, you know, stay after things and stuff. So, and don't stop until the whistle blow.
Yeah, well, here it is, 30-something years later, and I'm still remembering, you know, the fundamentals and then the techniques that I saw you perform and saw you successful and implemented it in my game and helped me play the 13 years. And of course, I was proud. I'm proud to say that my peers selected me to represent them at the Pro Bowl as one of the best in the league for 3 years.
Absolutely. Hey man, I appreciate. I'm telling you now that playing the left tackle, playing what you guys do, I'm telling you now, it's a tough world out there. You're playing in space. I'm telling you, you got guys that can run 4.5s or 4.6s and get those. They're trying to get your feet moving real fast. It's tough out there. It really is. See, in the center position, at least it's not like it's wide open or whatever stuff. Out there, it's tough. And so I admire the guys. I really do. I admire the tackles, especially.
I never got a chance. And I got to show you this. I never got a chance, of course, playing with the Cardinals. We only made one playoff in the 13 years that I was there. It was the strike-shortened year, really? 1992, when everybody made the playoffs. But one of the things that really blessed me in the 1990 Pro Bowl, and I'm going to show you this. You'll probably recognize this jersey. 1990 Pro Bowl.
Oh, Lawrence.
LT and I were teammates.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And we're coming off the field, and LT has his jersey, and he throws it to me.
Yeah.
Says, man, you're one of the few tackles that gives me problems in pass protection. And so he kind of gave me this jersey in honor of the battles that he and I would fight. And that was really one of the highlights of my NFL career. And this shirt now is a family legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a great story there. And that's the kind of respect that Lawrence had for you, that he, at the end of the day, I mean, he threw his jersey to you and stuff. That says a whole lot. And Lawrence, I'm telling you now, it was the best in the business. He did it better than I think the probably most linebackers and stuff. It's the guys that, maybe some days they were better. But I'm telling you, Lawrence Taylor was just unbelievable. I love to watch him play. And, so, yeah, that says a whole lot right there, man. He had a lot of respect for you and stuff.
Yeah, and of course, I respect him. Like you said, he's the greatest, inarguably the greatest. Changed completely how offenses ran their offense.
Absolutely.
If you did not account for Lawrence Taylor, you were not going to have an offense. Period.
Yeah. You turn around the quarterback and go to the line of scrimmage. All right, where is he at? You got to look at where he's at.
Throw a rover in the middle. Everybody, the whole team had to know where he was, or else you just weren't going to have any production on offense.
Yeah.
Unbelievable talent.
Now, he was a special guy.
Absolutely. And Dwight, I believe you played in 2 Super Bowls down in Miami, correct?
Yep, we did.
Okay, awesome. So obviously we're on the precipice of yet another Super Bowl. We've got kind of a changing of the guards with Dad was talking about it last week. We've got the old school with Tom Brady going for his 10th Super Bowl game, which is just absolutely unrivaled. And then we've got Patrick Mahomes, right? The young guy who's come on the scene and has made an indelible impact in his even short career. So who do you have for the Super Bowl this year?
I tell you, first of all, let me tell you got to take your hat off, like you said, Tom Brady. The guy, 10 Super Bowls is just unbelievable. And, he's worked at it and good for him. I tell you what, he's a special guy. And then you got the other guy on the other side there that seems to be, man, he's going to look like he's going to be hanging around those Super Bowls for quite often too and stuff. And just a uncanny, just a great talent and stuff. And I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl. And I got a favorite. And Patrick Mahomes is seems like just a good guy, man. He just a good guy and stuff. And don't necessarily have to do things the way everybody say you have to do it. He does it kind of his own way, and it works. And you can do that as long as it works. If it don't work, then you better go back and do it.
Can you share with us any notable experiences or memories from playing in your Super Bowls? Not every day you get to talk to somebody that has been in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
Super Bowl. I mean, it is. I mean, that week and stuff is kind of like it's a blur. It goes by fast and stuff. But that game comes, and then it's all forget everything else. I mean, you're focusing on that game and stuff. And we played the Redskins in Pasadena, I think it was, and we the first half we go in there, and I mean we're doing pretty good. We felt good about our chances. I felt good about it, and I was like, let's just come out here the second half and let's not make a whole lot of mistakes. We should be able to win this game here. We go back out there. Literally, we change our game plan or go to something different anyway. And before we know it, I mean they get to running that football and we fall behind. And but that's one of those games that I just felt like we blew it. And but they were a good football team. And then the next game we played the 49ers, and they scored every time I think they got the football. We scored like first 3 times, and then we just didn't keep up and stuff. And then they started rushing the pass, and that's when Michael Carter, and he didn't play a whole lot there because they just started rushing the pass and stuff. But it's one of those games that, man, you get there and you don't want to blow it, and then it's not that easy to come by. But I did think I would be back in the Super Bowl a couple more times, and we almost got back in there like the following year, I think it was. But anyway, we before I knew it, I had a knee injury, and that was it for me and stuff. But I'm hoping that the Dolphins, we're going in the right direction. I just hope we get back in there soon and stuff. So.
Well, you got a good coach. You got an excellent coach and a young quarterback, and they seem to be building something special. The 2 teams you played in the Super Bowl against were Washington and Washington football team and the 49ers?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They were yep. And 49ers, they were, Joe Montana and Roger Craig just had a big day. They were a really good football team, the 49ers and stuff. And I thought we were a good football team too and stuff, but they kind of just poured it on. And Roger Craig, I thought at that time, I thought he was like the best football player in the National Football League. He could run the ball, he could catch the ball, he blocked. I mean, he did a lot of things, and he had a big day against us that day too as well and stuff. So
great player, and equally great person too, Roger Craig.
Yeah, Roger Craig. Yeah, but
yeah.
Louis,
So,
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's nice to hear you kind of recall some of those experiences that you had at the Super Bowl. And I want to just ask you, because I know that you have mentioned your parents who were very hardworking and set an incredible example for you and your 7 siblings. And here on Sharp Talk, obviously, my dad and I, we talk about football, clearly. Faith and friendship and fun, but we also like to talk about family. And so can you talk about the importance of your family, both your parents and your siblings, but even your wife and your children, and let us know a little bit more about the people behind the man, Dwight Stephenson, and how what kind of impact they've had on your life.
Okay. Well, but again, like I mentioned earlier, I had my mother and my father. I lost my father then about 15 years ago to asbestos. He was he attracted lung cancer from that, and but he was a big part of my life. We are a very close family. We still are very close today and stuff. I mean, we get together all the time, and they come support me, and I try to go to theirs and support them and whatnot. But we're very close as a family and stuff. And my wife's family is pretty much the same way and stuff. So I've had big support, great support, and then, but that's also helped us through those times. I can remember when we were growing up. I mean, it wasn't like you went to work. If I went cut grass and did that, or I had the job, we all worked when we were growing up. But the money kind of all came to the house, and you kind of gave it to your mother, or you might have kept $1 or $2 or something like that if she, But it pretty much it was all in the family, it was all in the kid, and we all worked together, and we still do today. I talked to my sister this morning. I mean, we're very close as a family and stuff. And then my family, like I said, my son, he's up in Chicago. He has 2 children, and he has a 3rd one on the way. My daughter, she adopted 5 kids, and then she just had her own child about a year ago. No, going on 2 years ago now. So she has 6 kids, and my son, he has his wife is expecting their 3rd child. And then my youngest son, he's not married yet. So but again, family is very, very important to us. My wife, she tried to stress that, and we try to make sure that's the case and stuff. And try to be there for one another. That
is tremendous. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebekah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, family is important, and one of the things that we want to talk about and transitioning into the importance of faith and what that means to you.
Yeah.
And the God that we believe, he instituted the faith, the family, and he instituted the man to be the head of his family. And obviously we have a responsibility to be who it is that he called us to be, so that we can have successful, productive family members. And you're talking about your children and their children. And that's a direct result of you and your wife. So talk to us a little bit about faith and what it means to you.
Yeah, faith is something that's very important, and from early on in life and stuff. My grandfather was a preacher. My father's grandfather was a preacher. So religion has been always a big part, and faith been a big part of us as a family, and us individually and stuff. So but growing up, we attended church, and you attended Vacation Bible School. You did those things and stuff, and did it because pretty much my mother and my father. I mean, you did it, and they attended church, and then I got to understand it better and stuff. And I know the things that have happened to me. I mean, only God could do and stuff. It's been times where I'm like, boy, that was a dangerous situation there, or a situation wasn't too smart for me to be there. And I only know I'm like, only God could have seen me through those situations there and stuff, that they didn't turn out really bad for me and stuff. And then certain things that, only God could help me get through them and stuff. I don't expect life to be easy. I don't expect things to, necessarily be pretty and rosy and very comfortable. I know that there are going to be some challenges, and I want the faith and I want the strength to make it through those things and stuff. And I try to try to stress that to my kids and my family too, that, hey, you know what? You gotta have appreciation. Don't feel as though, it's whatever you got, you're going through. Someone else out there, believe me, is going through something a lot worse, and they would love to have your situation and stuff. So
an attitude of gratitude, gratitude. And like you said, there have been so many situations where if there had not been a God, I would not be here today to testify about his goodness, about his protection, about his peace, about his deliverance, everything to do with my life. My children, my daughter, by the way, is ordained minister through International Ministry.
Terrific.
Very proud of that. She's got a gift of sharing the good news and piercing the hearts and letting people know that he is the way, the truth, and the life. That's what we're called to do, the Great Commission. So God is awesome, and he's been very good to our entire family.
Right. So God makes all things possible, and we need to let them know we appreciate it, and not just when things are going well. You got to let them know you appreciate it when things are challenging for you and stuff. And just all the things that happened to us in the last year with the coronavirus and all the other things that are going on out here and stuff. It's very easy to go and say, find a reason to not do the right thing. You just gotta believe in him and stay on the straight and narrow.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much for sharing that. That was very heartening. So in this world, we will have trouble, but we can take heart because he has indeed overcome the world. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the endeavors that you are up to in the present day. Obviously, we've talked a lot about just the litany and plethora of decoration that you received as a football player, but you have found even greater purpose in your retirement from football. Can you talk to us about what you're up to today?
Sure. When I went in the National Football League, I knew that, I wasn't going to play football for the rest of my life. And I thought maybe coaching might be a direction that, to go. And so I was kind of like, that was a possibility. But when I retired, I kind of got involved. I hurt my knee, and then I was like, so I knew I needed to find something else to keep going and keep growing, and life goes on and stuff. So I did. I got involved with a guy that owned a construction company, and just wanted to learn the business and get out there and get so people would have respect for me. I didn't want them to go around, oh, that's just Dwight Stephenson, and he has just living off his name. I wanted them to have the respect. And so when I tell him, hey, it's 36 inches, I want him to have respect. Hey, he knows the business and that sort of thing. So, and I don't know that much about the business because there's so much to learn. It's so vast, but that's what I was trying to do at first. And then and then the coach Shooter talked to me. He said, hey, why don't I consider coaching? And I said, Coach, the game's changed. I said, I've been out like a couple of years. I said, the game has changed and so forth and so on. I said, I don't probably pass me by. He said, I don't want to hear that. Something like that. I said, and then he said, well, you think about it tonight. He called me in the morning. And I went home and I talked it over with my wife. And I said, you know what? This is something that, the coach would coach Don to coach in the National Football League is not something that take lightly. And then not only that, but the coach would have a chance to coach with Coach Don Shula. That's awesome. And so I did. I took it up for a year, but I had already made commitments in the construction business, and I had people employed and so forth and so on. So I kind of did it for a year, and then I went back and to the construction business. And right now, what we're doing, we're still in the same name, same construction company and stuff. We've been in business for 29 years. We employ about 33 people. We do a lot of schools, airport work. You fly out of Fort Lauderdale, you probably flew out. Something that we built there and stuff. We do. Right now, we're getting ready to break ground on. We're doing quite a bit of work downtown in the downtown area there with the Overtown Youth Center there and stuff. We're doing work there, but most of our work is in South Florida. But we're trying to build a good company so people can take care of their families, so that we can build quality construction companies and stuff, quality construction projects, and be a quality company and stuff. So it's important to us. We want to protect our reputation.
That is awesome. That is tremendous. And it sounds like a lot of the fundamentals and a lot of the lessons that you learn growing up in Alabama and going on to the university and playing in the NFL are some of the same principles that you institute in making you the successful businessman that you are. Yeah.
We're working at it. Like I said, we just don't give up. We keep pushing. And, we do have good teams, good teammates and stuff. And we, we kind of, I feel we're like a family around here too and stuff, where we work to support one another. And football, being involved in construction company is very much like a football team. You can't do it all by yourself. You can't. You're going to have subcontractors. You're going to have people to work for you. You got to be able to manage them. And certain people have certain responsibilities. You need to make sure that they're doing what they need to do, and try to keep the morale of the company right. And you're trying to, you got bankers. You got to be accountable to. So it's a lot of different pieces to go into being a successful construction company. And the reason I thought that this was probably a good profession for me, was because in South Florida, they really didn't have we were trying to put together, they didn't really have a minority or black company that was with the resources and things to do the work down here and stuff. They weren't getting the opportunities then. Wow. And we said, well, you know what, we're going to put this together and we're going to go knock on the doors. And it won't be because people companies like ours are not asking for it. We're going to be asking for the work and looking for the work. And we've been fortunate. We've been able to grow the company, and we've been able to just been able to grow the company. People, I think they can take care of their families, and I don't want them to come here and say, well, if they go to one of those bigger companies, they can get better this, better that. I want them to be able to have the same thing that they can get at those other companies. They can get here at D. Stephenson Construction. So
inspiring, Dwight, and thank you for all you do for the marginalized and less fortunate. Sounds like in your community. That's very important. And I want to digress. I remember when we played. Remember we had 2 strikes. And we were fighting for a percentage of the gross and unfettered free agency. A player of your caliber today would be making what, $15-16 million a year, you think?
Hey, Louis, both of us would be doing really well. Both of us. Let me tell you, you see what the guys are making these days, and it's unbelievable. And you're not jealous of them or envious of it, but you know what? It does make you think. It's like, well, what would you have made? What would I have made back in our day and stuff? If the money and things were the way it is today and stuff. But you got to be happy with the guys, and we wish them well. Wish them well.
Yeah, absolutely, wish them well. And it was on our sacrifice, because we did go out on strike and lost game checks. And a lot of players were cut because of their union activities.
That's right.
So, we built the framework for the benefits, not only the salaries, but the benefits, man. They have insurance up to 5 years after they retire. Their pension plan is incredible. I think they get $600 per credit season. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Someone else told me, I was talking to a friend of mine too. Jack and Slater, he was telling me what these guys, it was just unbelievable. And but it's and I guess when we were coming up, the guys that came before us, 10, 15 years before we came up, they were like, man, you guys are really making money. And I think one guy even told me that and stuff. And that one of the linemen, great linemen, so you guys really making money there, because $100,000 was like the new benchmark for an offensive lineman when I first came in the league. And I didn't get that $100,000, but I think Larry Little might have been, those guys that were just getting up there or getting over that. And, and those guys should have been making a lot of money. And like you said, we stand on those guys' shoulders. I'm telling you, I remember one time guys that played in pre-59, they were getting like $20 in a credited season and stuff. It was just terrible. And, I felt for the guys and stuff. And before you know it, you're out the league and stuff. And, after 9 years, and you see, you're going to do something, need to do something, before you know it, you're out the league. And then once you're out the league, it's like, you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, but it is great. It is great to see them enjoying the fruits of many years of those that sacrificed and gave up so much. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Rebekah.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, as we've talked, and this interview has been very enlightening, and I love your perspective, Dwight. You definitely always you have that higher level approach to so many things, and it is very inspiring and very encouraging. And so I want to ask you, you've had such an iconic impact both on the field, and you've continued into phenomenal success off of the field. What do you desire for your legacy to be?
My legacy, I do want people to feel as though I did. I was an unselfish player. I wanted, as far as football, I was unselfish. I went out there and tried to do the best I could, to be the best football player I could on the field and stuff. But not just football player, but individual, being a good person too and stuff. So I want people to feel as though I was, I was hardworking. I was honest about what I was trying to get done. And sometimes now, like even when I'm, now, what I do now, I really want people to. I don't want them to feel like this is all about money and trying to be scrounging for every nickel dime I can. And I want them to feel as though we are trying to build a great company here, and we are trying to help people and stuff, and help them feed their families and stuff. I really want that to be the case and stuff. And the community, like the Black community here, I want them to feel as though D. Stephenson Construction, when we go out and we get a contract, we are sharing and giving the other guys contracts that they wouldn't have gotten the opportunities properly. So wow. I want that to happen, and I want people to know. We are trying to make the sacrifices to do what it takes to be the best. So.
Amen. Thank you for being a trailblazer and for not only fulfilling your dreams, but for really being a dream fulfilled for so many. I know one of my dad's greatest heroes as well. So this is a really special moment for us to be able to share in this dialogue. And Dwight, I know several people have mentioned it on the comments, but you are just very friendly and humble and so kind. I'm happy for you that you are the type of person who has achieved such incredible success, because I can tell that you really deserve it. So thank you for just allowing us to see the twinkle of your star on this Sharp Talk episode today.
Well, I appreciate it. Let me say, Lewis, you look great, man. I'm gonna tell you, you look okay.
He was waiting for one.
Good, man. I be watching you on Facebook. I don't comment a whole lot because my daughter say, Dad, what do you be saying and stuff? So she scares me about Facebook. So I don't say much or anything. But you look good, man, and good to see you working out, man. And you're an inspiration to us other offensive linemen as well as football players. You look great. I never would say you would. At your heavens, what were you, like 280 maybe when you played?
I've played at 305, 310 in my head.
Yeah. Okay. No, man.
That size now.
And you look awesome. You don't look like you're 62, 63 years old.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you what, I got it. I'm here. I got to work on my weight though, man. I'm not as light as I need to be and stuff, but I feel good. Thank God, no problem and stuff. But you do look great, man. I'm telling you, there's inspiration, and you stay after it, man. Stay after it.
I appreciate that, and that's going to inspire me to continue to do and that's one of the reasons I post is just to be an inspiration to former players. And we're the most iconic, the most revered spectator sport known to man. Let's represent ourselves physically as such. We don't have to retire and sit up and feel sorry for ourselves and eat and not exercise and woe is me. And if I was playing now, look at the money I would be making. Take care of your physical being.
Yeah. Man, you look great. That's a good story, man. That's awesome there and stuff. Yeah.
Hey, listen, you now 245, that's good. I mean, I know some guys I play with, they're pushing 350, 400 as we speak. So 245, that's what you weigh right now, right?
Yeah, but 245, 250-ish. This morning I think I was at 250 there. So but I try not to get up in it. I try to stay below that 50 there and stuff, but sometimes I go out to have a big weekend, so.
And you told me you got up to what, 310, and that was it for you.
I did. I got up after I retired, probably about 20 years ago. I got up like 330 pounds, and I could not believe I was that big, and I didn't feel bad. I tell you, I didn't have any, strokes, anything, breathing problems. Thank God. And I said, you know what, I can't believe this, and so I just said, you know what, I'm going to start. I cut back on stuff, and I like beer drinking or whatever and stuff. And I never was a big beer drinker, but if you did, I just cut out that and stuff, and try to eat a little better and stuff. And I've come down like about 60 pounds and stuff. And I do work out. I do get up and do something every day and stuff. So,
that's tremendous. And I'm sure there's some former players that are going to watch this interview, and they're going to listen to this part of the interview and this conversation, and that's going to motivate and inspire them. Man, if Dwight Stephenson and me and Louis Shaw, if they can do it, why can't I do it? They'll go out there and get the movement and start thinking about what they're eating, how much they're eating, and hopefully, bring some physical improvement to their individual lives.
I think you're right, man. I think it's a good way to go. Good way to do it. Absolutely.
One final question. I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about today's offensive linemen as far as technique and basic fundamentals? As opposed to when we play. What are your thoughts?
I just don't see the explosion off the football. I don't see, people attacking off the football. But I do think that these guys are big, they're big and they are fast. And, just some of the explosion that, I thought we did when we were coming up and stuff like that. I just don't see that. And the quickness trying to be the first one there and getting off the ball at the same time. Operating as one unit, it's not like it was back then and stuff. But I do think that these guys are capable, man. They're some good looking athletes, and they run well, and the game has changed so much too. It's more passing, of course. When we came up, with the Dolphins, I think 60% of at least probably about 70% of what we did was run. We ran the football. Now it's more passing and stuff, and that's the rules and everything allow more passing and stuff. But and it changed too with Marino. We went from then we were throwing the ball like 70-80% of the time and stuff. We throw a pass and run a play every once in a while and stuff. But the game has changed, and the rules are such as they are. I mean, and the offensive line, I think, have adjusted with that too. And the run blocking is not the way it used to be and stuff. So.
Well, one of the things I really enjoyed about playing, and I played with Jim Hannafin. He was my coach, and he was one of the greater offensive linemen. And our mentality in St. Louis was you force a guy from point A to point B against his will, and you don't even have to get in trouble for it. There are no criminal charges for making him move against his will from point A to point B. You wear him down, you impose your will against him, and then that makes it a little easier on the pass protection.
It does, man. Pass protect. When you had a pass and play, that was like a break. It really was. It was like Woodley or whatever. Hey man, let's throw the ball. One time you give us a break because that run blocking, man, it takes a whole lot out of you and stuff. A whole lot.
It takes even more out of that defensive lineman when you're pounding them and putting up 4 or 5 yards every play. You break their will with that run game. One final question. I know I said that before. Your thoughts on the blockbuster trade? The Lions traded Matthew Stafford to the LA Rams. They received 2 number 1 picks, a 3rd rounder, and Jared Goff. your thought quickly on that blockbuster trade.
You know, I have to look at that because I saw it too, and I'm like, I really haven't seen it. Stafford, I thought he was kind of like gets hurt every year. Not that but I was like, man, I haven't studied that deal. I like to see everything they gave up as well as why they did it. I was really surprised.
Yeah, and now there's a talk of Deshaun Watson moving from Houston. Imagine if Matthew Stafford is worth 2 first-round picks and a third-rounder and a former number 1 draft pick. Imagine what Deshaun Watson, a proven top 5 quarterback, what he'll be worth in a trade. It's interesting to watch.
I mean, the guys. I mean, I think it's his quarterback rating is like every year one of the top ratings for like the last 3 or 4 years, I think. And but he's a guy that he's a franchise player, no question. Everybody know that and stuff. He can go to a team and make a difference. He can go there and automatically that team can become a powerhouse, provided they got some defense and stuff. The guy,
absolutely.
he's that kind of player and stuff. So and now we're in Miami. I don't know. I don't want to touch that subject there and stuff. And but we got our team, and I don't know what they're thinking. I haven't talked to anybody over there and stuff. So, but I hope Watson all the best and stuff. I really do. He's a nice guy.
Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you so much. This has been an absolutely wonderful conversation with the iconic Dwight Stephenson. We're a little envious that you are in sunny Miami right now with a lot of our family, our Cuban family down there, but you all be safe. Yeah, take care of yourselves. We look forward to chatting with you again soon. And please thank your wife. I know yesterday she was working with us trying to mitigate the technical difficulties, but it all worked out. So we are really blessed by your presence today. Thank you very much.
We thank you guys. I appreciate it. And Louis, I mean, I really appreciate you, man, taking time and talking to me and getting me on your show. I appreciate it. And Rebekah, you're wonderful. You did a wonderful job and stuff. And
thank you very much.
When you're in town down here in Miami and stuff, look me up, man. Give me a holler. You got my numbers and stuff, okay?
I will. I'll give you a holler. We'll go work out. We'll go eat some Cuban food. I like español. Do you know any Spanish?
Yes, sí, mucho.
Yo español. Yo soy cubano. I'm Cuban. Born in Cuba.
Yeah. But no, I like Cuban food, man. A lot. I go through a spell where I eat it all the time, and then I get away from it, and then I get back to it. But no, I like
it. It helps you in. Trust me, we know.
Okay.
It's been a joy. Thank you so much. This was on my bucket list to meet, but to talk for a whole hour to the great Dwight Stephenson, someone that I modeled my game after. Man, what a joy. God is good. God is good. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for engaging the conversation today. Thank you very much.
You got it. I appreciate you guys, okay?
All right.
Stay safe.
Care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. Well, that was wonderful having Dwight on the show today. I did want to just update everyone that we are now streaming Sharp Talk on Apple, Spotify, and we're moving into new territory. So God is good. He's opening doors for us. And Dad, I know today was a dream fulfilled for you. So glad we were able to make it happen. And just looking forward to many more great things to come from Sharp Talk. Hey, Grandma, you're on. All right. So may the Lord bless you all and keep you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, those that are viewing. And just a reminder, we're excited. We're going to have Gregory Kelser. Gregory is the current color commentator for the Detroit Pistons. He is Detroit's favorite basketball son, Henry Ford High School graduate. Went on to play at Michigan State with the likes of Magic Johnson, won an NCAA championship in 1979, I believe. So we're excited to have him on Sharp Talk, I think Wednesday evening. Be sure to tune in.
Absolutely. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he be gracious to you. Lift up the light of his countenance unto you and give you shalom, peace. Be well, family. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye-bye.